And really, for both of these teams, this is already the playoffs. Implications abound in this game. Wendy's Friday Night Football, a cooler night. Temperatures dipping as the night progresses. Just a little breeze in Ottawa tonight for the Renegades and Stampeders. And Jim Barker, his team had a bye last week. Leif Pedersen, they're coming off a big win over the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
Yeah, the 5 games remaining, you know, they could win all 5. Saskatchewan twice, and they have Hamilton, Toronto, and Ottawa here tonight. For Joe Powell and his Ottawa Renegades, they trail the Toronto Argonauts in the East by 2 points for second place in that playoff race. And of the 4 remaining games left, he says he definitely has to win 3 out of the 4. They've got Calgary tonight. They could win this game. And, of course, they've got Toronto coming up back-to-back. A lot of crucial games in the next few weeks for both these clubs.
Saladin McCullough is back. So, too, is James Hunden for the Calgary Stampeders, who will receive the kick from Lawrence Tynes. We're underway at Frank Clair Stadium. Hunden with the ball at his 10. Net head on. Setting the tone early. Derek Ford right here in the middle. Helmet to helmet on Hunden.
Well, usually an indication early is how well you play special teams, and Ottawa covered that kick perfectly. Marcus Crandell, what an interesting next 5 games for him. A Grey Cup 2 years ago in 2001. A lot of injuries, a lot of second doubts about his abilities as a quarterback. He's got 5 more games this season to prove that he's the starter and the #1 guy in Calgary.
And he's throwing right away out of the backfield. Incomplete to Saladin McCullough. And here's the offense for Marcus Crandell, McCullough, and Regenbald in the backfield. Darnell McDonald is back for the Stampeders after his knee problems. Here's the offensive line.
Boy, it's a big group, too. This entire group averages 6'4.5" and 307 pounds, and they do a pretty good job protecting for all the Calgary quarterbacks this season. There's been a bunch of them.
Wayne McGarity, a threat as a special team player, also as a receiver. Crandell. In and out of the arms, Kamel Peterson. And a 2 and done for the Calgary Stampeders. Here's the defense for the Ottawa Renegades.
Well, Derek Ford at the defensive end, a big hit on the opening kickoff for special teams, and a secondary that's had all kinds of problems this season. But tonight, Grant Clements, his 5th game. George McCullough, injured a week ago, wasn't sure if he would be back and playing, but he gets to start on the corner. And of course, Canadian Donovan Carter anchors the middle. But they will have their hands full against what I think is a pretty powerful Calgary receiving corps tonight.
Duncan O'Mahony ready to kick. Arnold Jackson is back for the Renegades. O'Mahony. Rush was on. Kick heading out of bounds, and it will go out of bounds at about the 35-yard line. For one of the big stories in the CFL this season, Kerry Joseph, the quarterback of the Ottawa Renegades, who was playing flag football a year ago.
You know, it's always interesting to see and hear what opposing coaches think of the quarterbacks they're going to face. And at dinner last night with Jim Barker, I said, you know, what do you think? He said, I think he's one of the brightest young quarterbacks that come into this league. And he said, I like what Ottawa has done by making a decision early. He is going to be our quarterback. They don't give him the early hook. They let him learn by his mistakes, and that can only make him better.
They immediately go right to it. Joseph looked for Ottawa to establish a running game with Josh Ronick. Ronick up the middle. Over midfield, Ronick. Big gain from Josh Ronick, who averages almost 7 yards a carry. The Calgary Stampeders give up almost 6 yards per play, and here's the offense for the Ottawa Renegades.
Well, you're going to see Ottawa run the football a lot tonight. That really is their strength. The big offensive line loves to run block for Josh Ronick, and boy, the Calgary defense has given up a lot of yards on the ground, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Kerry Joseph try to pound away.
Ronick with a gain of 35 yards. Joseph, who is 8th in the CFL in rushing, also another pickup. You're going to have to move fast here because right now the Ottawa Renegades are going with a no huddle. Here's the defense for the Stampeders.
The league leader in sacks, Joe Fleming at defensive end. Calgary will play a lot of 30 front tonight. A secondary that has Davis Sanchez on the quarter. Probably the best in the league at 1-1, and the secondary probably not going to get the biggest test tonight because I really think Ottawa is going to try to pound it away on the ground.
Starting lineups brought to you by Tums. Tums tackles heartburn fast. Joseph throwing over the middle, wide open for the touchdown. Mike Mauer, wide open. Explosive start for the Renegades.
Wow, what an opening drive for the Ottawa Renegades. They have been tough here at home at Frank Clair Stadium this year. Their problems have been on the road trying to get a win, but they start off big. And Rod, I'll tell you, that opening hit on the kickoff cover by Derek Ford set the tone for this game, and Kerry Joseph with a beautiful opening drive.
What a start. They hardly huddled. Went quickly, they ran it, they threw it, they scored it. 7-0 Renegades this season. He's also covering on the kick here coming up from Ottawa.
And there he is right there. For some reason, there's no safety in the middle. It's not a blitz, but the middle opens wide up. You see Joey Bose come late, but Mike Mauer on only his 12th reception of the season makes it a big one. It's a touchdown early in the game for Ottawa.
They did not take much time at all. Kick down to Hundon again. There's a flag on the play. He gets it up to about the 36-yard line. The flag coming down about the 38.
All right, let's go back to the key play in that opening drive, culminating in the touchdown by Mike Mauer. Was a run by Josh Ronick, who's had just a fabulous season, 3rd in the league in rushing. Look at the hole right here. Bangs right through, and the pressure for the defensive ends to stay wide, because if they collapse down, Kerry Joseph will fake the ball and run himself. So they have to respect that. There are going to be some good seams up the middle, and Josh Ronick found one of them early.
4th leading rusher in the Canadian Football League, Josh Ronick. Made quite an appearance last year in the Renegades colors, and some problems hanging on to it last year. Not so this year. Hung on to it there. Big gain. Big opening drive as Marcus Crandall goes back to work. It's 2 and out the first time. Catch made by Darnell McDonald, back from his knee injury, missed the last 4 games. And he is a big addition, Leaf.
Yeah, he's a big target. He's a big target too. 6'3", 190. Was watching him very closely in the warm-up on the field. He's got terrific hands, soft hands, everything perfect. And you know, when you isolate him backside and go trips to the field, that's a pretty good one-on-one matchup.
Last game he played was against Winnipeg. He had 5 catches in that game and a touchdown. He's always a threat. Look out for number 80. 2nd and 3. Almost picked. A lot of pressure there on Marcus Crandall, and this Ottawa Renegade defense has not been putting much pressure on its opposition. Only 3 sacks in the last 3 games.
A lot of confusion with the Calgary receivers running a crossing pattern underneath. Here's Derek Ford with the big pressure from the outside, and he gets the pressure because the Calgary receivers actually collide on the crossing route underneath, and Marcus Crandall had to hold the ball far too long, and Derek Ford got in. So a quick 2 and out again for the Stampeders, their 2nd series in the row, and Ottawa should get great field position for the 2nd time.
Number 84 is Arnold Jackson. We have some dynamite special teams players here tonight. Demetris Bendros, who is just back in the lineup, might not get some action returning. Also McGarity, we almost had a block. Ball getting away from Jackson, and there will be a no yards call. So the Renegades will get near midfield to start their 2nd possession. They lead 7-0.
Well, a terrific start for Josh Ronick with a 35-yard run on their first series. The key, look at Joe Fleming here and on the outside here. When Joseph fakes it in here, we'll let it go. If they don't respect Joseph running to the outside, he's going to do that. So if the ends collapse down inside on Ronick quickly, Joseph will pull the ball out and run himself. This is going to be the key base formation for Ottawa tonight with the single back.
Joseph shotgun.
See, there it is.
There's the shovel to Ronick. The bowling ball knocks down a few more pins and a flag on the play. Referee tonight is Glenn Johnson. Umpire is Dave Hutton.
Holding. Ottawa number 55. Repeat first down.
So a holding call. Chris Burns.
You know, it's going to come back, but here's the key again. Here's Joe Fleming. He comes up, and with Ronick inside, he has to stay outside. Joseph pulls it and then pitches. But this is the whole base package that's set up. And there's nothing that Joe Fleming can do right, or the defensive end, Antoine Young, on the other side. It's a game you play against the outside guy on the line of scrimmage, and it's a very difficult play to play defense against.
Leads the CFL in sacks with 10, Joe Fleming. Again in the shotgun, 1st and 20, after an 18-yard pickup was nullified by that holding call. Play action, another fake to the sidelines and knocked out of bounds was DJ Fleck.
Sam Young broke on the football beautifully there while the ball was in the air, because that was a good throw to DJ Fleck. But 15, Sam Young, he's going to come in as a nickel and a dime back in certain situations today. Just a 4-man rush. Calgary loves to play zone on 1st down and 2nd and long situations, and Young just sat back, read the eyes of the quarterback, and then broke on the football perfectly.
9.5 minutes to go in this first quarter.
In these kind of situations, 2nd and 20, you're going to see probably just 3-4-man rush.
Another flag, movement on the line. Somebody might have jumped. Joseph down the sidelines. A bullet through the hands of Yo Murphy.
Well, Joe Fleming's had just a heck of a season, leading the league with 10 sacks and
Offside. Calgary number 98. Repeat 2nd down.
That's Antoine Young offside, but Joe Fleming and Demetrius Maxey in the middle with 5 sacks. I mean, the team as a whole has 34, and these two guys have 15 between them. Quite interesting production from your inside interior guys. And Joe Fleming will move around. He'll play defensive end. He'll also move in and play some tackle as well.
2nd and 15 after the offside call. Again, the fake to Ronick and throwing, going left, but sacked. So now the Renegades will boot it away. Antoine Young in on the play. Joseph really had no chance to get out and under from this.
Yeah,
they swarmed him.
Good pressure all the time. Antoine Young comes up with the sack, but I think a smart play by Kerry Joseph. 2nd and 15 is tough because Calgary gets good pressure just from 4 guys most of the time, and allowing them to drop 8 men back in the secondary. You're better off to just eat the ball, punt it away. You've got a lead, and that's how that's how Kerry Joseph has matured as a quarterback this season.
Punted away. And the Calgary Stampeders will begin at their 21. They lead 7-0, the Renegades do. Around this league, let's go down to Terry Marcotte now with a report from the Calgary Stampeders sideline.
Rod, this team, the Stampeders, have been terrible on the road this year. 138-21 in their last 3 games. They've been outscored. So Jim Barker decided this time he's going to try something different. For the first time in his coaching career, he instituted a curfew. 11 o'clock last night, the players had to be in their beds. And I don't know if it's making much of a difference right now, but players complaining a bit about it. They look rested at least.
Saladin McCullough with the pickup of 7 yards. Brent Wallace will be on the Ottawa Renegades sideline. Okay, hang on a second. You were out for dinner last night with Jim Barker. Did he make it back before 11?
I don't remember.
You obviously didn't make your curfew.
We had a great dinner. I think that when you're a head coach, you make the assistants do the rounds on bed check.
Well, he said that he would only give a curfew for a Grey Cup game, and he's treating this one like a Grey Cup game. They need wins. McCullough again is stuffed at the line by the Renegades. And once again, A 2-and-out for the Calgary Stampeders.
Boy, the Ottawa front seven right now, extremely aggressive. Jerome Haywood, number 99, getting good penetration upfield. Camrarty from the backside gets pressure. John Grace up the middle, second tackle for him. And Kelly Wiltshire, the leading tackler in the club, in on the play as well. And this Ottawa Renegade team, I mean, they've had 2 tough games in a row. They've lost to Edmonton, they lost to Montreal. Probably games on their schedule they weren't going to win anyway.
Who just happened to be the Grey Cup finalists a year ago.
Yeah.
Those 2 teams.
And they've been tough at Frank Clair. I said that earlier, and they've come out and they're having a solid first quarter here. Calgary yet to pick up a first down.
They've had good pressure on O'Mani, and once again he had to get that away quickly. Jackson on the sideline dances out of bounds, nowhere to go.
Boy, has Ottawa had good field position for the 3rd time in a row for Kerry Joseph.
Big night here tonight, football fans across Canada. Another great matchup coming your way after this one. Dave Dickinson and the Lions against Ricky Ray and the Eskimos in Commonwealth Stadium. That's tonight after this ball game.
Well, the Lions trail Edmonton by 4 points in the West, and I think if they have any sights on first place, this is a must-win for them tonight, but a tough place to get it.
So from the Renegade 47, 1st and 10. Pitch pass to Denny Montana, in and out of his hands. One of those where Montana is thinking, well, was I forward or was it behind him?
Well, it was forward for sure. And one of the keys always with a young quarterback is going to be, you know, what kind of first down production does he get? Does he keep himself out of 2nd and longs? And already on the last series with a holding penalty on Chris Burns, they were 1st and 20 and then 2nd and 15 and now 2nd and 10 again. And these are situations for a young guy I just hate to see with that good running game. That's what they need to pound away on with first down and get these better situations.
And he has thrown 18 interceptions this season. Flags on the play over the middle. Demetris Bendros, however, with the catch. Did not play last week with an ankle injury. They love having this guy back in the lineup.
Well, good coverage by William Fields. He's moved inside from the corner spot to take on Bendros. Good contact and a great catch.
Penalties decline. First down.
Penalty was against Calgary. Bendros limping off. Again, he had the ankle problems. Missed the game against the Eskimos. And he's limping again. So now past midfield again, this time from the Stampeder 47. 1st and 10, Ottawa. Fake to Ronick again. Again the pitch. Ronick, tough to bring down. He's got such a low center of gravity, and those legs just keep churning and churning and churning, Leaf.
And again, they play a game on the outside guy, and once again, it's Joe Fleming. When he comes upfield like this, either Ronick's going to get it on the handoff or on the pitch. And I mean, this is a great series. Watch this, the fake. Fleming has to respect Kerry Joseph. You get good blocks inside. They sustain them. And Josh Ronick's having himself a whale of a first quarter, but it's all about formations and how you control the line of scrimmage. And right now, that's a pretty frustrated Joe Fleming because there's really nothing he can do right on that play.
Stampeders again coming off a bye week. And a few big weeks coming for both sides. The Ottawa Renegades, a chance to avoid a crossover situation. They could do that. They could also get a little closer to the Toronto Argonauts, just 2 points back. Argos play Saskatchewan on Sunday. Joe Paopao knows what he has to do. He's been down this road before. Here's what they have after tonight. 2 big ones against the Argos, and then to finish up against the Alouettes.
Well, Toronto has 5 games remaining, or Ottawa rather, just 4. But in these kinds of situations, Rod, I always like to be the first game of the weekend. Toronto plays in Saskatchewan on Sunday, and I always like to play the first game. Now tonight, if they win, they're tied with potentially with Toronto, and now the pressure goes back on Toronto to try to pick up a win on the road.
And on the other side of the field, Jim Barker with 5 games left, pretty much must win for the Stampeders down the stretch, and against Hamilton, Saskatchewan, and Toronto, certainly gettable games.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, including tonight. Yeah, if you looked and said, can we win these 5 games? I think you'd say, sure, we got a great shot to win 5 in a row. But as we began the broadcast, I really believe the pressure's on the quarterback, Marcus Crandall.
First down again. Ronick again. Bursts outside, and Sheldon DePastuk bowls him over.
And that's what's going to happen for Calgary tonight. Their 2 tackles, Demetrius Maxey and Sheldon DePastuk, are really going to have to pick it up a notch, because the outside guys, Fleming and Antoine Young, in this kind of an offensive scheme are really not going to be that involved in the run game, because they have to protect to the outside. So that means your interior linemen are really going to have to pick up the pace, as DePastuk did right there.
Danny Montana comes wide right. Joseph in and out of the hands of Ronick. And that was certainly catchable. Now 3rd down and a kicking situation, a chance to put 3 and more on the board for Joe Paopao.
Boy, and has this guy, Lawrence Tynes, their kicker, been any good this year? 42 of 50, leads the league in points with 163, 52 yards, his longest field goal, and he has been more than a pleasant surprise.
This one from the 39. Hold down, kick up. Well, there we go. CFL's leading scorer makes it 10-0. Renegades out in front here. Big game at Frank Clair Stadium on a Friday night. Lawrence Tynes and Pat Fleming. Fleming, the holder, used to wear number 48.
Well, he used to wear 48. We'll finish that thought after this play.
Crandall on the play action. Pass knocked down. The Stampeders have done nothing here offensively so far tonight, with 4 minutes and 10 seconds left to go in the first quarter.
Well, Pat Fleming wore 48. It was in his contract. That was his college number. But unfortunately, when he caught a pass from the kicker, Lawrence Tynes, he was ineligible. One of those things that just slipped by Dave Easley, who's head of the special teams. And Dave Easley's mom, Janet Easley, is recovering from a hip operation out in Vancouver tonight. She is a huge CFL fan. We know she's watching, and we do wish you a speedy recovery.
Well, can they get a first down? Close, but still a couple yards shy. Marcus Crandall and Don Blair made that catch. So once again, another 2 and out for the Stampeders. Marcus Crandall was a pretty busy guy, by the way, during the bye week.
He was.
He got married.
I knew that. I thought I'd let you tell the story.
It's his honeymoon. He's playing this week.
Yeah. Some guys do it differently.
I remember Anthony.
I went on a cruise.
I don't think it'd be much of a honeymoon if the wife was on the sideline, but Anthony Calvillo, I remember, did that.
He'd probably make no trouble with curfew, though.
Or maybe not. Calgary will have to boot it away again, and they have been very close, the Renegades have, to blocking Duncan O'Mahony a few times. This time they set up the return. Jackson back. Gets it at his 35, but nowhere to go. Well, guess what, Leaf? It's that time of year, not only the push for the playoffs in the CFL, but the NHL season upon us. Mighty Ducks of Anaheim against the Dallas Stars. Marquee matchup every Wednesday night. First one, October the 8th. Sergei Fedorov playing for the Ducks. Hockey game down the road here tonight, too. They got a great crowd here at Frank Clair Stadium, a preseason game. Senators and the Leafs. So the Renegades back at it, leading 10-0.
And they go no huddle. They come right out as a unit onto the field from the sidelines without a huddle and try to speed up the tempo of this game, which has been pretty good for them in this first quarter.
DJ Flick. They can't bring the guy down. Kerry Joseph stood in there, took a hit eventually. Nice catch by Flick as Joseph was in some trouble.
And one of the reasons I think Kerry Joseph has matured rather quickly has been the help of quarterback and receiver coach Kent Austin. He does the game plans, he does and breaks down film of his opposition, and of course Joe Paopao is a wonderful mentor as a former quarterback himself and a very, very patient man. Probably the best combination for Kerry Joseph to have these two coaches.
Again, the fake to Ronick. They've worked that play a lot. Joseph scrambling, and again will move the chains. Kerry Joseph, one of the most electrifying plays this year. He had a 63-yard scamper for a touchdown against Montreal. He can really pile up the yardage.
And he's mixing things up nicely. Here's the previous play to DJ Flick across the middle. He stands in tall, delivers a good strike, and then he does it with his feet. A fake on Antoine Young on the outside. Watch it here. This is tough for Anton Young. And Joseph with back-to-back first downs, one with his arm and one with his feet.
And flags all over the place. Movement on the line. Under 2 minutes here in the first quarter. It has been all Renegades so far.
Well, you know, you look at teams, Rod, and they're one-dimensional just with their passing game and no running game. And tonight
Procedure,
you just...
Ottawa, number 66, repeat first down.
You just see the beauty of a team that can run the football as well as throw it, and it just takes the pressure off a young quarterback so much.
Kerry Joseph also uses that fake a lot. If he's not giving the ball to Ronick, look at the difference right now in offense. If he's not giving him the ball, he's faking it and throwing. This time he throws, and Denny Montana on a one-hopper was the intended receiver.
Yeah, that's a tough throw. Wide side hitch. I mean, that ball has to be in the air a long time, and you notice they don't do it to Davis Sanchez's side. He picked one off against Winnipeg about a month ago that was just a beauty. And don't think Kerry Joseph doesn't know about that.
They have not been huddling very much here, going with a very quick offense. Just over a minute to go, first quarter. 2nd and 15. Receivers all to his right, but Joseph takes off up the middle. Still on his feet, but will not be able to pick up a first down.
But what he did was against a three-man front, which is a great defense to run against, to hit those bubbles. He may have got enough yardage for Lawrence Tynes to come in for a field goal attempt. See the gap right there? Against a three-man rush, look what develops right in there. A beautiful lane to run. He will not get the first down, but again, it's a field position kind of play.
So once again, Fleming comes in for the hole. Tynes will try a 48-yarder. He is with the wind. 1 for 1 tonight. He's got the distance. Make it 2 for 2. And 44 of 52 this season for Lawrence Tynes. Great start for the Ottawa Renegades, who lead 13-0.
Well, Ottawa firing on all cylinders early, and it has been great field position, Rod, that I believe has really helped them. They've scored 3 times already. The Calgary Stampeders, on the other hand, a miserable first quarter, still looking for their first down.
Only 19 yards in total offense for the Stampeders, and they will have to kick it into gear. They certainly are due. Marcus Crandall.
Well, historically, your first quarter is usually your most sluggish as an offensive unit, so we'll hope that Calgary can get it cranked up here as we're winding down here in the first quarter.
Sometimes that also comes after a bye week.
Absolutely.
Crandall rolling right, looking for a receiver, and he has Kamal Peterson. And that is the first down for the Stampeders here tonight.
Well, a lot of questions to be answered for Jim Barker's team this season. They have 5 games left. They're in last place. It's been turmoil after turmoil.
Soap opera.
It has been a true soap opera for Jim Barker, and through it all this season, he's kept his sense of humor. He's kept his sense of direction with his football team. And from a personnel standpoint, I mean, I think they've got pretty good personnel. The quarterbacking situation has just killed them this year.
Well, the ownership situation, quarterbacking. Mark McLaughlin, who's the kicker, is now the president and CEO, trying to bring some stability. Crandall throws to Scott Reginbald, and another first down. So the Stampeders starting to gallop now. And that will be the end of the first quarter, dominated by the Ottawa Renegades, although the Stampeders may be on the move. Let's send it back to the studio to the fellas and Dave Randall.
Yeah, thanks very much, Rod. And if that first quarter is any indication from a Calgary standpoint, I'm thinking that whole curfew thing is going right out the window. Next speech from Barker is going to be, I don't want to see any of you guys in the hotel till at least 3 a.m.
That was my kind of coach.
Stay
right
out, because this ain't working. Let's talk about Ottawa.
Well, one guy who wasn't out till 3 a.m. is Demetrius Bendros, and I got a rare opportunity here to break down a pass pattern, explain to the folks at home exactly the anatomy of a route. We're going to look here at Demetrius Bendros. This part is what we call the takeoff. He's just pushing upfield to close the gap a little bit. Now we're going to see him move through the stamp. Here he wants to move him inside and get the DB moving his feet a little bit, getting him settled. Now as we roll it forward, we're going to show the burst. Here's the burst, and that what you see there is a swim move. Every receiver's got to have that in his toolbox. And after he got the swim, now it's got to be separation. And you see that gap between them? No quarterback will throw you the football on a dig pattern or an over pattern like we're seeing here unless he sees that separation. The ball's actually thrown a little bit behind him, but because he did such a good job of running his pattern, the ball got there anyway, Matty. Great fun.
Nicely done, Jock. Nicely done. Let's play a little receiver yourself in the CFL.
A little bit.
And he did that very, very well. Allegedly. Good, David. I tell you what, as a defensive rush end, Derek Ford shows you must have a speed rush in your toolbox if you're going to get to the quarterback. Here's Derek right here. He is filling in for Fred Perry, and watch the speed rush right around the outside. No moves, just sheer speed, just beating him through the edge, ducks his shoulder, and makes Crandall throw the ball earlier. A nice job by the defensive line, getting some pressure for that much maligned secondary, and this is a key for the Renegades if they're going to continue to do this. In fact, Schultz, they had 4 2-and-outs to start that ball game with.
I know, that's amazing. A football team 1-6 on the road, and they got 4 2-and-outs. They're not ready to play football. But I got to talk about head coach Joe Paopao because he's deceptive. He comes across so nice, calm, cool, and collected. But when you look at the evolution of the Ottawa Renegades, he has made 4 major changes on this team at quarterback, receiver, punter, and at running back. Plus, remember those 2 defensive backs he kind of said goodbye to? It's really interesting when you look at football because you have to evaluate it in one way. Are your players improving or are they regressing in their ability? I think Joe Paopau's done a good job by having a little bit of a ruthlessness in him on his evaluation of his individual players, Dave.
Ruthlessness?
Ruthlessness.
Hey, we're going to talk about Ronick at some point tonight,
yes,
right?
Yes,
we like Ronick.
And Mauer.
And Mauer him
yes.
as well. 13-0 as we send you back to the park.
Boys are riled up back there tonight.
Yeah, well, we can talk about Mauer. He has a touchdown. He's a nice-looking fullback.
Saladin McCullough. And for the 3rd straight play, 3 first downs in a row for the Calgary Stampeders after such a sluggish start. Second quarter underway, 13-0 Renegades, and the numbers all add up in the Renegades' favor.
Well, as you mentioned, sluggish start, only 42 total net yards for the Stampeders, but they've got a nice drive going here to begin the second, and hey, it's only 13-0, and with all the weapons that the Stampeders have with them on offense tonight, there's no reason why they can't get themselves back into this game in a hurry.
Yeah, we haven't heard from Hunden or McGarity so far tonight, or McDonald too much. Now, catch made by James Hunden.
And that was a great pattern. If you're watching and you're a young receiver, I say this time and time again, the best way to stay open when you're open is to work back to the quarterback. Keep that separation you've created. You've worked so hard to get downfield and now come back to the quarterback. That's what Hunden does. He does not let the corner get through and play the football. That is a super route by a very technically sound receiver.
He comes out wide right this time. Now a 1st and 10 from the 20. 4th first down in a row. After 4 2-and-outs by Marcus Crandall in the stands. Crandall dancing and gets hit by Kelly Wilshire. And there will be a roughing call, unnecessary roughness tacked on, and that will take it even deeper into the red zone. Number 1 hit number 1.
Major foul, spearing, Ottawa number 1. First down.
And that will take it all the way down to the 5-yard line.
And with receivers all spread out, you get a beautiful natural lane. The right guard comes through, gets the block on the middle linebacker, John Grace. And when you spread out the field like that with your receivers, it's a natural for the quarterback draw in a zone defense, which they had Ottawa in. Kelly Wiltshire with the penalty, but Marcus Crandall all of a sudden has come alive with his offense, and this is a good-looking drive.
Wilshire looking like he was coming for the hit and just could not stop. 5 first downs in a row for the Stampeders. Now from the 5, 1st and goal, chance to get on the board. McCullough in the backfield, fake to him. The pass to Peterson, who's down to the 1. Big stop there by the Renegades. So now it'll be 2nd and goal.
Kamal Peterson in 2002 had 62 catches, had 6 touchdowns, and they were happy to have him come back to the Stampeders. You don't quite see it off to the left of your screen, but once again the play fake, and it sets it up. Peterson coming across the field in a chase position. Usually that's a tough play to chase, but Ottawa did it quite well.
Again, McCullough in the backfield. 2nd and goal. The give to him. Whistles blowing, flag down, no hands in the air. Flag down on the far side of the field.
It was almost like they were trying to whistle that down before the play started.
Here's the call.
Offside. Ottawa number 23. First down.
So now 1st down for the Stampeders.
And that's Serge Sejour. That's a mouthful, isn't it? Serge Sejour. But he must have lined up offside in a bump and run goal line situation.
For sure.
For sure.
12 minutes to go before halftime. McCullough again in the backfield. And this time he's stopped but makes it in for the touchdown.
What a confidence builder for the Calgary Stampeders to be able to answer 3 scores in a row by the Ottawa Renegades with a beautifully engineered drive by Marcus Crandall to get their first touchdown of the night, and they are very quickly back in this football game.
Absolutely. Well, the Renegades came out and may have also caught the Stampeders napping a little bit with their quick start, their quick offense. They came out, they didn't huddle right away, went down and scored right away. But now it's 13-7, Leaf.
A 307-pound offensive line isn't going to get stuffed too often, and Saladin McCullough gets their first major of the night.
Go back to work. Let's join Brent Wallace, however.
Yeah, thanks very much, Rod. It was touch and go for a while with Kerry Joseph. He came off the field after his last play, which suffered a bruised shoulder. They put an ice bag underneath it. He took the ice bag out as the defense got off the field after that touchdown. He's ready to go back in. Guys?
13-7, Duncan O'Mahony kicking it off, and a former Stampeder, Raymond Adams, with the ball. Adams' first touch against his old mates, and it was here last year, Leaf, that Adams took a kick back for the Calgary Stampeders at Frank Clair Stadium.
He's a good one, and the theory tonight is to have Raymond Adams and Arnold Jackson in the lineup to do all the kick and punt returners, so Dimitris Bendros, who's just coming back into the lineup, will not have to take any of those duties tonight.
Let's see how the Renegades respond now as they scrimmage from their 35. Joseph to Ronick. Nowhere to go this time in the land of giants.
Well, and that time in the middle, Sheldon Napastuk and Demetrius Maxey are starting to see this play a little more, and they are playing it tougher.
Kerry Joseph. Let's go back and show you how he hurt his shoulder on this play.
It almost looked kind of harmless. He run the quarterback draw, and as he goes down to the ground, you'll see his left shoulder. And of course, you can never evaluate how harmless it looks because he came up and clearly had some problems.
DJ Flick is wide right. Joseph goes over the middle to Ronick, who hangs on to it this time. And a first down, and it could be a face mask call here. Flag after the play. It like something a little unnecessary after the play.
Major foul, face mask, Calgary number 23, first down.
So a couple of these, one spearing call against Ottawa, this time a face mask against Joey Bose, the Stampeders.
Well, when your safety is the first guy making stops against a running back coming out of the backfield on the pass play, you know there's something wrong, or Ottawa's attacking the right area, and that's a couple of times the middle's been wide open for an Ottawa back.
Joseph again, shovel pass, but to no one.
And the beauty of that play is it just goes as an incomplete pass.
That time there was no one around, and there's Raymond Adams. Goes to the sideline. Wonder how the shoulder is affecting Kerry Joseph. We'll see now, because this is throwing situation for Joseph. 2nd and 10 from the 45. Denny Montana wide left. Flick wide right. Again over the middle. Knocked away. William Fields over the middle.
Great coverage by William Fields. That's about the 3rd time Bendros has run that in pattern, and this time Fields was on his hip the whole way, and we wondered about the arm of Joseph. I don't think it's a problem. It was his left shoulder, but that pass is clearly behind the receiver, and Fields probably had the best play on the football.
So now Pat Fleming will come out to punt it away. It would be a 52-yarder, but it's against the wind. And again, some heat on the kicker and a no yards call. So the Stampeders will take over and try to find pay dirt again. They trail by 6 at Frank Clair Stadium. This is. Yep. Sometimes you just wonder who will show up. Saladin McCullough with another pickup. The Stampeders are starting to kick it into gear here. 9.5 minutes to go in the 2nd quarter. They were completely dominated in the 1st quarter of play. And again, Jim Barker's team had a bye week last week. Little shaky start here, but they are right back in this game.
Well, they've really calmed themselves down, and now they have looks like they have a real sense of purpose. That was a beautiful drive they put together on their last series with the McCullough touchdown, and they mixed it up nicely between run and pass, and now McCullough in high gear again, picking up a 1st down on that carry.
Twin setbacks. Scott Dybert up the middle. Another big pickup. And after a number of 2-and-outs, the Stampeders are getting 1st downs very easily now.
Boy, and Scott Dybert delivered a huge blow on Donovan Carter, number 2, the safety. When your safety's making these tackles, you know you're getting some great blocking up front, and they took care of John Grace early, the middle linebacker. That's the key if you're going to run inside. Listen to this.
Yowza. So now from the 48. Fake to Dybert. Time to the sideline. McDonald is brought down by Kelly Wilshire, and another Ottawa 1st down.
And the natural evolution of how an offense is generated. You run, then you go play action. And when you go play action, you have all kinds of time for Darnell McDonald to run a deep comeback pattern. And all of a sudden, Jim Barker's offense looks like the 1st quarter was just a distant memory.
Yeah, it's foggy. Another Stampeder 1st down. Now at the Ottawa 50. Running room for Crandall. Slides in. And that's the 1st time in some time that they haven't been able to pick up a 1st down, but half the yardage that time for quarterback Marcus Crandall.
Boy, like Kerry Joseph's run his offense tonight. Watch Keaton Cromartie here come crash downside, and Crandall just makes the fake in and goes outside. Now, he doesn't pick up a lot of yardage, but if that outside guy, whether it's a defensive or linebacker, doesn't stay at home, this is what's going to happen. These quarterbacks are so good at putting the ball in the fullback or the running back and then taking it out and running.
2nd and 6. Crandall. And another 1st down, very close to it for the Stampeders. Catch made by Don Blair.
Well, one of the interesting stories this year, there's Scott Milanovich, who was brought in as a quarterback, had a couple of starts and had a lot of interceptions.
He's starting tonight as their new quarterbacks coach.
Yes, he is. Well, with so many shifts in upper senior management with the club, Jim Barker's now doing player personnel, and he needed Scott Milanovich, who's a terrific young guy, to stay on as his quarterback coach. Only in the CFL.
Only in Calgary right now. The reverse. Peterson gets out of bounds. Well, it's so bizarre when you think about it. Jim Barker, who is now the head coach and the director of player personnel, the owner Michael Federick, and there is his son Kevin, who is a quarterback Mark McLaughlin played underneath Jim Barker and now is Jim Barker's boss.
You had the best line when you said to Jim Barker before the game. What league could you go from week to week and be you're the boss of the kicker and now the kicker's your boss? I mean, it is pretty funny.
2nd and 9. Crandall, another reception made by McDonald, and there actually that time it's Wayne McGarity. And again, very close to a first down, so they'll have to measure this. They're going to bring the sticks out.
Well, Wayne McGarity, he has brought so much to this club. I mean, as an all-purpose yardage guy, he's 3rd in the league. As a receiver coming in, he had 43. He's added some tonight, but he has just given them so much production. And you couple the fact that Darnell McDonald's been out, McGarity really has been the go-to guy for most of the season, although McDonald has more catches.
So once again, they move the yardsticks. Another 1st and 10 for the Stampeders. There's McDonald back in the lineup. He'll come out in the backfield. This time Crandall lines up behind center with McCullough in the backfield. Hand off to McCullough. Dodges, weaves, and cuts, and pick up another 3 or 4 yards.
Boy, it's all about who can dominate the line of scrimmage. In the first quarter, clearly Ottawa's offensive line was able to dominate the line of scrimmage, and now late in the first and early in this second quarter, the Calgary offensive line has begun to dominate, and the running game has taken a lot of pressure off Marcus Crandall, where he didn't have it to begin this football game.
2nd and 6. Big line for the Stampeders. Crandall in the shotgun. Looks deep near the goal line, and a touchdown. Guess who? Wayne McGarity. Stampeders go from being down 13-0, and with the point after here, will take the lead on a beautiful pass by Crandall and a great catch by McGarity.
And the pressure came just too late from Keaton Cromartie. Enough time for Crandall to find McGarity, who made a nice catch in front of Serge Séjour. And all of a sudden, the Calgary Stampeders, who started off so sluggishly, have erupted for back-to-back touchdowns, and they take the lead.
14-13. McGarity with the catch, and look what he does after. TD will be back to Ottawa.
Wayne McGarity, what a big play. He's excited.
I'd say he should be.
That for my dog AC back at the crib. You better be watching, boy.
And they are.
We hope.
Raymond Adams is back, the former Stampeder. He's got some wheels. Takes it up to the 43-yard line, the former Stampeder, and now it's Wayne McGarity who electrifies Stampeder fans, number 86, and that was beautiful.
And it all starts with protection, Rod. The offensive line, a big group. Watch how they slide out. They slide out, form a nice wall for Crandall as he goes on the rollout. Nobody in his face, and he picks out McGarity, and boy, they designed this perfectly. We're going to have one play, and we'll go back and show you how McGarity got open, because it was pretty.
So now it's the Renegades who need to get their offense in motion. Wide open upfield, but almost picked off. Demetris Bendros was right there. The Stampeders still running the ball, but it is a dead ball that was incomplete.
Well, this is how you do it. You got Hundon out here. Watch, he just runs an out here to occupy. Donnie Blair comes up, and he just sits in here. So what that creates is all kinds of room for McGarity to run the post corner. When this play starts right here, you know where Crandall's going. He's going for the home run. A good pattern. Séjour just couldn't get there, and consecutive drives, consecutive touchdowns. The Stampeders take the lead.
They are rolling. And the Renegades need to get rolling again. 2nd and 10. Joseph in trouble, gets it away. Flag on the play. Bendros the reception this time. He's on the far side of the field, and Joseph was rocked again. flag in the backfield, a flag on the far side of the field. Might be a roughing the passer call here too.
Offside, Ottawa number 86. Major foul, roughing the passer, Calgary number 98. First down.
Antoine Young on top of Kerry Joseph, so the offside negated, and let's take a look at it.
The top of your screen, watch.
Yeah, a little too late. Adam didn't realize he had thrown the football already.
And I think it's key for Ottawa now to get better first down production. They've had far too many second and longs in this second quarter. They need to reestablish that first down yardage.
Bauer, who scored early on the touchdown toss from Joseph, his first touchdown of the season. Product of the Regina Rams junior football system.
Sorry, Rod, he gets about 5.5 there, and I think in this kind of situation you're probably going to see Ottawa run again. Joe Paupau's told me yesterday, when I get in this situation now, I'm a second and a long 4. I'm just trying to think, at least get 3 yards, because I'm going to gamble tonight in certain field position situations, and this is clearly one of them. I wouldn't be surprised on second down if they run again.
Last play before the 3-minute warning. Deep this time. Penalties on the play, and it might be an interference call. Dimitris Bendros downfield, and the officials threw the flags on that play. It was William Fields on top of Bendros, and it looks like Ottawa will keep moving the football thanks to a penalty. We'll come back, sort it out. 3-minute warning on the field.
Well, we have a great look at the double penalty called on Willie Fields. He and Dimitris Bendros have had some great battles. There's the contacting. That's right off the bat. Let it run. Now you're going to see pass interference because Willie Fields never turns his head around to try to locate the football. So Ottawa takes the greater of the 2 penalties, which is interference. And all of a sudden, they've got a nice situation just outside Calgary's 20.
32-yard gain on the penalty. Paupau watching. Joseph in the shotgun from the 20 in the red zone here with 2.5 minutes to go before halftime. Josh Ronick, who they went to a lot early on but have not gone to much in this second quarter.
It almost seems like Ottawa has lost its focus a little bit here in the second quarter with their running game. They had great success, and it was setting everything else up. And they've gone to mostly the pass. And obviously now on 2nd and 6, they'll probably have to do that again. But Paupau was adamant yesterday that he felt like the running game would be the way he could win this football game.
Again, a team that has not defended the rush very well, and a team that runs the ball, especially Ronick, pretty well. Joseph knocked down at the line of scrimmage. It looks like it was Joe Fleming.
It was. Not only the sack leader, a very intelligent football player. He saw the quick 3-step drop. Joseph wanted to release the football, and he got his hands up in the air, and what a terrific defensive play. At the bottom of the screen, Fleming playing tackle on the loop to the outside.
Well, it looks like it might have been Antoine Young.
Ah, well,
either or, they both were there, weren't they? Lawrence Tynes from the 23 to make it 3 for 3 tonight. And he does. This guy can boot the football. And he boots his team out in front again. They lead 16-14, and 9 of the points coming from Tynes, make it 10 with that extra point, of course. Paupau's team got off to an electrifying start. They lead again. Marcus Crandall with the inside pitch, taking a page out of the Ottawa Renegades playbook. Welcome back to Frank Clair Stadium. 1:55 to go in the second quarter. It's 16-14. Ottawa Renegades, who just got that field goal from Tynes, 47 yards in that last drive because of penalties.
Well, that was a big 3 points for Ottawa. I mean, they had everything their own way, and then Calgary with back-to-back majors. Now all of a sudden Ottawa comes back, and this has been a terrific first half.
Well, 2 teams with 9 losses, desperate teams trying to get into the playoff picture. They know that losses are killers right now. And another first down for the Stampeders.
Donnie Blair on the catch on the outside, and we have an injured Ottawa player. It's going to be interesting to see. 1:49 to go, and Marcus Crandall now is in perfect position to run the hurry-up offense. And with 1:49, they're out close to midfield. He can be really patient, try to pick apart the defense and get some points back and grab the lead at halftime.
There's Marcus Crandall. And on the other side of the field is George McCullough. And he was injured last week, too. Let's take a look at what happened here on this out pattern to Don Blair.
Well, just contact by Darnell McDonald downfield with George McCullough in a very scary situation a week ago at a Commonwealth Stadium, where George McCullough was carried off the field and no one even remotely thought he would be able to play this week. But sure enough, he was able to come back and be in the lineup tonight, and all of a sudden now another what looks like a pretty scary situation.
Yeah, on a play that was away from the play. Sometimes those can be the worst, especially if you're not expecting a player in your vicinity.
The right of your screen, Darnell McDonald 80 downfield. Now there's the catch by Blair, but here's where the contact occurs, and it's difficult to see. Did a hand get up in the face, or tough to tell what happened.
So McCullough is down. A knee or something in the midsection too. The Lions and the Edmonton Eskimos in Commonwealth Stadium. They had a shootout a couple of weeks ago at BC Place. Dave Dickinson's team finished on the short end. It went right down to the wire. Last team throwing you thought would win or lose, and Dickinson's team lost. See what happens there tonight. Dickinson's former team, the Stampeders, trailing here 16-14. George McCullough is still down and still in a lot of pain, and they're starting to get him up. Might have landed incorrectly. This might be like a shoulder problem of some sort.
Well, you go back, Rod, to the second half of our doubleheader. Well, we'll go back and have one more look at it. And again, it's the top of your screen. Darnell McDonald and George McCullough, there they are, and so tough.
Well, right there, maybe on his left shoulder as his arm fell. That's exactly it. It's his left shoulder. Worry that there might be a separation of some kind. Let's go down to Brent Wallace now for a report. Brent?
Well, Ron, as they continue to work on McCullough as he comes off the field, Eric Tillman, the general manager, walks by and says he had a really bad stinger. He just tried to come back too soon from last week's injury. They'll still work on him and update him later, guys.
Eric Tillman, who was sidelined tonight, had his mom here.
His mom was up from Mississippi to see the new granddaughter, born September 17th, I believe.
Eric was telling us a story that he came to Ottawa with his family when he was a young kid in the 60s, and who would have thought years later he would be the boss here, the nation's capital. Saladin McCullough now, and he's brought down.
Well, 1:43 to go. Now second and long. Marcus Crandall's really got to start to work this hurry-up offense. He needs at least a couple of first downs to give Duncan O'Mahony any kind of a shot at a field goal to close out this first half. And I'm kind of surprised, Rod, that they're going back into the huddle. I've never liked this. I like an up-tempo game at this stage, and to me, you just waste a lot of valuable seconds, or give some to the other team.
McDonald wide left, Hundon wide right. And not able to hang on to it is Don Blair. And Duncan O'Mahony will come out as Marcus Crandall holds his right knee. So both quarterbacks getting banged up here tonight. O'Mahony will come out, but he's going to have to kick it away.
Pretty good pressure coming up the front for the Ottawa Renegades. Clinton Wayne 90, and on the outside it's Derek Ford, and just tough to see what happened. He just rolled right into him. It's 99 or 90 Clinton Wayne. And Calgary's own player, Bobby Singh, I believe, pushed him into him.
And Crandall is still down. Now, you mentioned Duncan O'Mahony. Interesting situation now that the longtime kicker, their hero kicker from a few years ago at the Grey Cup, Mark McLaughlin, is now the boss of the team, has moved upstairs. Duncan O'Mahony takes over the field goal kicking duties. Now, of course, O'Mani kicked when he was in college, but he's been a punter predominantly. And since he's taken over the duties, he's only 1 for 3. He's only had 3 attempts since McLaughlin became the GM.
And the one he made was 15 yards. So be kind of interesting to see what happens last play of the game.
Yeah, I don't even think Jim
45 yards out. Is that a good scenario?
Well,
might get him a little nervous.
Put some pressure on him, and look at this. This will make Jim Barker very nervous. Marcus Crandall, which I'm sure will mean Kevin Federick will start warming up. They also have a new quarterback, former Saskatchewan Rough Rider Keith Smith, who's their 3rd quarterback right now, but that's all the Stampeders need. Remember, Federick led the Stampeders to a win over Ottawa on Canada Day in McMahon Stadium when he got the start. O'Mani brings the clock down.
In these situations on punt returns, I'd always want to locate Gerald Vaughn 39 if I'm Calgary, because he is one of the great punt blockers. He doesn't get there that time.
Nowhere to go for Arnold Jackson, but a minute 13 to go. Crandall going to the locker room after that wrap on the knee by Clinton Wayne. We'll get a report in a few moments. Let's go down to Terry. Terry?
Marcus Crandall probably gone for the night. A serious looking knee injury. A 2nd-degree MCL is what they're saying here initially, at least. So Kevin Federick, it'll be his ball game now.
Terry Marcotte on the sidelines there. Terrible news for Marcus Crandall. Ronick, the dump pass. Nowhere to go, though. Just gets back to the line of scrimmage, really. And a hurry up again for Kerry Joseph.
Well, at least I like the style. I mean, they didn't get much on first down, only a couple of yards with Ronick, but they're in the hurry up. They've got 1 minute and 7, plenty of time to get Lawrence Tynes in at least some sort of reasonable field goal range.
But they're going to need a first down here. 2nd and 8. Loads of time. Tons of time. And knocked away. Going over the middle for Aubrey Cummings, the former Stampeder, and Joey Bose was there to knock it away. He's been around a few times here tonight, roaming in the secondary for the Stampeders.
Lots of time for Kerry Joseph to pick out a receiver. Just great coverage by the Stampeders downfield, and had Aubrey Cummings been able to work back to the football a little harder, he might have been able to make that catch.
So Kevin Federick is going to get some downs here before halftime, and some running room for Hudden, but then is snowed under. So Kevin Federick will come into the ball game again. Was back on Canada Day when Federick got the call. Jim Barker now goes to his 2nd quarterback. Here's the quarterback crunch, as they say. And Scott Milanovich is now the quarterback coach. Darnell Kennedy, you know where he is? He's on the Ottawa sideline. He's their 3rd-string quarterback right now. And Marcus Crandall is, for all intents and purposes, right now out of this ball game. So Federick, his team trailing by 2 with under a minute before halftime. McCullough goes right and has a first down. Here's Federick, who at one time had this guy, Darnell Kennedy. Scott Milanovich, remember, started a game. Now he's the quarterback coach. And the new guy is Keith Smith. Jim Barker's been like Bob Barker. It's been come on down, quarterback.
Play quarterback. And it's Kevin Federick's turn right here with 28 seconds to go. Can he generate something?
McCullough again. McCullough has been such a force here with 20 seconds to go. Saladin McCullough, a touchdown already tonight. He has had some big gains. Every time he's touched the football, it's almost been an automatic first down.
Yeah, Calgary wisely uses a timeout now with just a little better than 21 seconds remaining, because they need probably a good 10 more yards to give Duncan O'Mani a reasonable shot. But Kevin Federick and good play calling from the sidelines take advantage of an offensive line that I mentioned earlier. Averages 6'4.5" and 307 pounds. Let them grind away and wear down a rather small Ottawa front 4 with the running game. And at least get Federic somewhat warmed up.
Federic behind center. Divert in the backfield. Rolling. The southpaw still has the football and is crunched. That is Jerome Haywood, number 99, supplying the heat there. 14 seconds to go.
And there's Jerome Haywood right there. Watch how he keeps working. He's on Bobby Singh. He gets held, he gets grabbed, he gets groped, but he ends up coming up with the sack anyway.
Like the way you said all that.
3 Gs.
Here you go. Final play, unless a flag comes down. Federic, look out. Nailed again. We'll see what the quarterback situation is like for the Calgary Stampeders in the second half. Crandall looks like he's out. Federic is going to have to watch out for guys like this. Keaton Cromartie, the sack before halftime. 16-14, Ottawa Renegades. Quarterbacks getting banged up here tonight at Frank Clair Stadium. And Friday night football tonight is almost must-win now for Jim Barker and the Calgary Stampeders. Joe Pauw, Ottawa Renegades don't have to be told about the importance of this, and that's why we've had a pretty good, close, intense football game here tonight so far. See how the second half develops. Ottawa will kick it away. And story 2 was Lawrence Tynes. 3 for 3 from field goal range. And the story in the second half is going to be Kevin Federic, and will he be able to lead his Stampeders to victory? He did back on Canada Day when he got the start for the Stamps against the Renegades. Tynes ready to kick off the second half. Wayne McGarity. James Hunden. Actually, they took McGarity off the return team, and Derricott is into the game, but Hunden has the ball. Hunden on the outside is tripped up at the 50 and was a couple of strides from taking it a long way.
Well, what a difference he's made to their kick return game. He had a 103-yard kickoff return for a touchdown in a big Labor Day win over the Edmonton Eskimos. James Hunden, how in the world did the Toronto Argonauts let him go? Calgary plucked him off the Toronto Argonaut practice roster. He's fit in perfectly. Great receiver, good on special teams.
Kevin Federic into the game. Marcus Crandall on the sidelines with that knee problem. And now Federic with Saladin McCullough in the backfield. McCullough, a big story in the first half too. Touchdown, a couple of huge carries. Fakes that time. Federic steps out of trouble. Catch made by Don Blair. He has about 5. For an update from the Stampeders sideline, let's go to Terry Marcotte.
It was a big surprise at halftime watching Marcus Crandall come out of the locker room. The coach saying that Crandall maybe could go if needed, but right now Kevin Federic is healthy. Crandall is obviously limping and obviously not happy to be pulled out right now because of the knee injury.
There is Keith Smith, who the guys in the studio were talking about. Played with Saskatchewan a couple of years ago. It's 2nd and 7. Federic in the shotgun. Here comes the rush. Gets it away. Catch made by Kamal Peterson, and a first down for Calgary.
Kamal Peterson's really made quite a nice impact in this football game so far, and gets a nice pass from Kevin Federic, and he just finds the hole. The second man in from the bottom of your screen, Kamal Peterson just works back to the football nicely. There he is. Keep that separation. Good job.
Federic took a bit of a bump from Kelly Wilshire. There's Peterson. Big first half for him.
3rd catch of the night.
1st and 10 from the 46. Federic wide open on the sidelines is McGarity, and very close to the first down. Looks like he might be just a touch short. And Saladin McCullough talked about his contributions. running matchup between McCullough here tonight and Josh Ronick, who they really kind of went away from, the Renegades. But McCullough doing a good job here tonight. The absence, of course, of Lawrence Phillips, that has been a story. Was a story last year in Montreal, a story this year in Calgary with the broken hand. And now he had visa problems in California. He is back in Canada, we heard tonight.
We heard he's back in Calgary tonight. Work visa in hand, so he'll be ready to play when they need him.
McCullough, 2nd and 1. And that looks very close. Jim Barker has gone through a litany of episodes in this soap opera in Calgary. From the Lawrence Phillips situation, the ownership, the quarterbacking situation. Of course, the Stampeders missing the anchor of their defense, A.J. Alondra Johnson.
Yeah, I don't think A.J. will be back this season. Very unfortunate season for him. To lose a leader like that, especially on a rather young football team.
They need to keep winning. Here's McGarity, high stepping down the sidelines for another first down.
Well, that's a great formation. It's essentially quads to the field, and you just swing McGarity out of the backfield. When you see that play developing, you know he's going to get the football, and now your 3 other receivers downfield turn into instant blockers, and that was a well-executed. That's a first down kind of play that usually gets you significant yardage. That time it picked up a first down yardage with McGarity running.
Again, if you're just joining us, the Stampeders had an awful start. 4 possessions, 2 and out. Trailed 13-0, and then have really put it together and have been mixing up their offense. Now Federick into the game with Crandall hurt. There's the pitch to McCullough, bursting outside for a couple of yards and out of bounds.
Well, Kelly Wiltshire really read that play well. I mean, he's on the backside of quads to the field, and there's a lot of pressure one-on-one to make a tackle, and he did it perfectly. He's the leading tackler on this team, man. That has not gone unnoticed. He has had a super season.
First half possessions for the Stampeders. And the 14 points.
Well, it was funny. The 3 punts were the first 3 in a row, and then the last 2 series were touchdowns.
2nd and 8. Federick throwing again. Dances in the middle. And he is sandwiched. And there will be a flag and some real rough stuff going on now, and it's on. It's on.
Well, there was nothing illegal about the hit on Federick, and one of the Stampeders really took exception to it. I'm not sure if it was Gerald Vaughn who made the hit.
Federick had to pick up his body parts almost after that play. Yikes, he was sandwiched. Looks like he's okay. There's Gerald Vaughn. And I'm sure there's going to be some roughing penalties after this.
Well, certainly Gerald Vaughn was attacked and blindsided by one of the Calgary players.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness, Ottawa number 39. Major foul, unnecessary roughness, Calgary 64. They're dead ball fouls. It's 3rd down.
Jeff Pilon and Gerald Vaughn. And here's what happened. So Pilon protecting his quarterback, taking exception to this.
Well, it was the extra push by Gerald Vaughn that agitated Jeff Pilon, and probably rightfully so.
And which got Vaughn the penalty. So now Duncan O'Mahony, only his 4th field goal attempt since taking over the reins from his new general manager. O'Mahony is wide left. And there was some serious pressure. Ball through the end zone, however. O'Mahony wide, but gets 1 point. And that's what separates these teams right now. On a night of banged up quarterbacks, let's go down to Brent Wallace.
Thanks, Rod. Well, if you see Joe Paopao right next to him is Kerry Joseph wearing the jacket. His shoulder was bothering him too much in half, so they've taken him out. In goes Romero Miller. Not a bad idea, because both games he's played in for the Renegades this year, he has thrown touchdown passes in. Guys?
Romero Miller, 21 of 13 so far this season. 62% thrower, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Now pressure on. The guys who started this game aren't in this game now. The backups take over. Miller. And knocked away, and a penalty flag.
Great coverage by Davis Sanchez, but we'll just see if he had the arm on the receiver at the same time he made that knockdown.
Kerry Joseph under the hood.
Pass interference. Calgary number 2. First down.
So too tight for Davis Sanchez. And again, a penalty, moving the Renegades down the field.
Well, you watch, he has the knockdown, but the right arm is also on the receiver at the same time, interfering, and I think that's a great call.
DJ Flick, the intended receiver. Romero to the backfield. Dangerous pass, but Bendros has it. And it picks up 4 or 5 yards. So Kerry Joseph started the game like Marcus Crandall for the Calgary Stampeders, and right now he's a spectator. 6 of 14 with a touchdown here tonight. The touchdown came early. Marcus Crandall doesn't look like he's coming back in with that ice bag on his knee. 10 of 16, very similar numbers, and also a touchdown, that one to Wayne McGarity. 2nd and 5, just over midfield. Miller into coverage, incomplete. Bendros again was the intended target.
Boy, Kelly Malveaux, number 3, broke so quickly on that football. I mean, Miller had a pretty good toss in there trying to get it into Bendros, but Kelly Malveaux, number 3, who we observed doing some wonderful stuff in his warm-up today. He really is, he's an interesting guy, and he had the most unique warm-up out there that we watched. Kind of talks to himself a little bit, does a little back pedal, looks up to the sky, talks a little bit more, but he sure got it done on that play.
Ball booted away, and the Stampeders will begin at their 23, and they trail by 1 point. You're watching Wendy's Friday Night Football on TSN.
Very unfortunate incident. He's admiring the completion downfield, and he just kind of got leg whipped by Clinton Wayne, who was knocked into him. Certainly wasn't illegal or dirty at all. Bobby Singh, the right guard, actually pushed Clinton Wayne into Crandall, but he looked in serious trouble. But he's on the sidelines, and I suspect should he have to play, he probably could.
So Marcus Crandall, who had injury problems earlier in this 2003 campaign, the MVP of the Grey Cup game 2 Novembers ago.
Boy, that seems like such a long time ago in his career, though. I mean, it really does.
And for the Stampeders, who did not make the playoffs last year, such a new world for Calgary this year. 9.5 to go, 3rd quarter. Loads of time left and loads of room for Saladin McCullough, and another first down.
Why, this is so important for both teams tonight with young quarterbacks. I mean, all through the roster, they have young quarterbacks. And again, just to re-emphasize how imperative it is on first down to sustain positive yardage through your running game. And, you know, that time McCullough once again with a first down effort. But really for Federick and for Romano Miller, I think the running game again so key here in this second half.
Well, a couple of quarterbacks are trying to strut their stuff. Federick deep and open was McDonald, but he couldn't run to it. Just overthrown.
Well, a good pump fake by Federick on the outside. McDonald with the hitch, and now the go, and he had a step. But Federick just overthrew him slightly. He knows it. He had a chance for a home run, but couldn't make it happen.
So he'll go 2nd and 10. Federick, good numbers so far, 4 for 5. Scott Milanovic, who was a starter, Played for Jim Barker in the XFL. Is now the quarterback coach. Federick out of the backfield. McCullough diving and squirting to the 42, but shy of a first down. Scott Milanovich, by the way, has had some coaching experience with the Rhine Fire. The Rhine Fire was also the team where Romero Miller played for after he was with the Minnesota Vikings on their practice roster last year.
There's a lot of stuff here tonight with the quarterbacks.
It is. Well, Duncan O'Malley. Arnold Jackson back. So too is Raymond Adams, the former Stampeder. O'Malley knows what Adams can do, but Adams will get the ball. Bursts into the middle. Takes it up to the 38-yard line, and that's where Romero Miller and the Renegades will go to work. Leading 16, became the man in Ottawa when Dan Crowley was no longer in the plans. But in the first half here tonight, Joseph goes down. The shoulder problem, left shoulder on that hit, and right now he's under the hood, takes it off, and he's watching Romero Miller, the backup for Joe Paopao and the Renegades, to work from his own 38. Josh Ronick still on his feet. Big gain for Ronick, a 15-yard pickup. Ronick had a 35-yard gain earlier in the ballgame. He will open it up for sure. If you give him a hole, he's gone.
Yeah, and it really put so much pressure on the interior of the Calgary line. That time, Demetrius Maxey, number 91, was handled by Alexander Gauthier, who's in for Val St. Germain, and opened a hole for Ronick. And what a great first down play to be able to get the running play going.
They really haven't been able to establish Ronick in the second half, or even in the second quarter before halftime.
You know what, Rod? This is what drives me nuts about some teams. I mean, you've just had Ronick smash away for a big first down gain, and yet you want to go back to the passing game. And for Joe Paopao and his offense, I mean, grind away. You've got field position in your favor here. You could play three-down football if you wanted to, and yet they keep going back to the passing game, which I don't think they need.
Very creative offense, though, Joe Paopao, for the most part, since the Renegades came back to the CFL. Ball gets away from Miller, picks it up. Will have to throw it, does, and throws it away. Looking for Denny Montana. Miller was lucky that he didn't give up the football or that he was sacked. Montana has words now with the Stampeders.
Well, I think Romero Miller rather just did a terrific job to get out of containment and get rid of the football, because Otis Floyd was breathing down his neck, and that was a good play to just get out of trouble and bring your punter in and, you know, try to pin Calgary deep.
Fleming. Spiraling kick. And there's Hunden on the sideline. Hunden down the sideline, and the last tackle made. And a big one was needed there by the Ottawa Renegades. Otherwise, Hunden was gone. That was the punter, Pat Fleming.
James Hunden with a great kickoff return. Now a super punt return to the outside. The wall was set up. Fleming with the hit to make sure he doesn't go the distance. But James Hunden already really making an impact in this game. Only one catch so far, but a couple of great kick returns to give his quarterback excellent field position.
Just over 6 minutes to go in this third quarter at Frank Clair Stadium. Stampeders 4-9, the Renegades 5-9. McCullough fights for about 7 or 8. Saladin McCullough with Lawrence Phillips back in Calgary, getting his working visa worked out. And will be available soon to the Stampeders. Coming up right after this, Ricky Ray and the Eskimos, Dave Dickinson and the BC Lions. And again, it might be the last team to touch the football that wins that one tonight in Commonwealth. Don't miss it.
What a great quarterbacking matchup. Dave Dickinson, Ricky Ray. Dickinson, the Lions, with a big win in Winnipeg a week ago. It should be a dandy.
Federick to the sideline. McDonald bringing it in. Krantz Clemens in the coverage with McDonald as Federic checks out the plays.
You know, the big difference, you know, it's interesting. You think, wow, we bring the second quarterback in, not much of an adjustment. I think for the receivers on Calgary, it's a huge adjustment because Federic's a left-hander and Crandall obviously a right-hander. And I'll continue that thought after this play.
Federic is sacked. Jerome Haywood brings him down.
Well, you gotta love Jerome Haywood, 5'9". There he is up at the top there. They say he's 280. He's more like 300, but he just waltzes around the left guard, Stephen Morley, and boy, oh boy, what a neat play he just made. Going back to Federic, you know, left-handed, right-handed, a lot of times as a receiver, you don't see the quarterback when the ball comes in the air, and you get used to picking up the flight from a right-hander, and all of a sudden it's left. It's a big adjustment.
Kamal Peterson and a flag, and the flag coming after the tackle. Kamal Peterson, another big reception. Did you ever play with a left-handed quarterback?
Yeah, I did, and I'm trying to think of who it was, but I remember the spin is opposite. So right away you're catching a ball with backward spin.
Pass interference, Calgary number 86. Repeat second down.
Wayne McGarity. So
that's a big break.
Big break for Ottawa.
But again, Rod, you know, if you're a receiver and you're downfield and these linemen are so big now, you just see a ball come out of the pocket and you usually anticipate what area it's coming out of the pocket. And obviously with a right-hander, as a receiver, you look back to a specific spot you think it's going to come from. Now with a left-hander, it comes from about 4 or 5 feet on the other side of that pocket. And it truly is a bit of an adjustment they have to make. And of course, with the reverse spin.
Remember Jim Zigzag Zorn a few years ago. The NFL also played the CFL. Federic, catch made by Blair, who kicks it away. No yards play. Here comes the ball the other way. France Clements on his feet.
That's a heck of a play. You know what? I think it's a great play by Calgary and an even better play by Ottawa to recognize it and get it back to great field position for them. Boy, and only a Canadian can do that. Donnie Blair, he knows. He makes the catch.
Calgary number 6. Penalties decline. First down.
He gets an opening.
2nd and 28. Picked up 10 yards. At another 18 to go. They figured they had to punt it away anyway. Wanted to catch them down deep. No yards called there. And
I'll bet you there's some of the young American players out in the field going, what the heck is going on out here? This is rugby.
Wow. Good old-fashioned Canadian football. Don Blair knows how to play it. Heck Crichton Trophy winner. I don't think that one was ever put into their playbook.
Well, I wonder if Donnie Blair just, you know, didn't do this on his own, because, I mean, he was really thinking about picking up some yardage, and then he said, heck, might as well kick it. I think Blair did that on his own. It'd be interesting if we can find out from the sidelines, Terry Marcotte down there, if he can ask someone. I'd love to know if that was just an impromptu or planned play.
Tell you what, it was if it was impromptu, he was very close to a couple of those Renegade defenders. But boy, kudos to him to be able to get that away.
Donnie Blair has never lacked confidence.
No.
Well, I remember him at the University of Calgary. To me, when I saw him play in a Vanier Cup, and I used to love doing those games, I said he is a can't miss. And he's had a kind of a funny career. He's had some real bright spots. He's had some struggle times. But all in all, he's a darn good receiver.
He's played with some great quarterbacks, too. Played in the 95 Vanier Cup, which Dinosaurs won. 5 West Finals, 2 Grey Cup games. So now, after all of that, Miller and the Renegades back to work again from their 35. Let's go down to Terry Marcotte as the Renegades get close to a first down. Terry?
Leaf, to answer your question, that was in the playbook.
Well, that's good. And that was a heck of a play. I'm glad to find that out because you never know with Donnie Blair.
So now 2nd and 2 after Yoel Murphy picked up 8. And up the middle, but stuffed right there, and will be probably a yard and a half shy.
Well,
the Renegades.
We'll see if Joe Paopau's words from yesterday, well, it's a first down. They waive it because he said to me without question he would be a 3rd down gambling man tonight, and he won't have to do it there, but certainly field position tonight has really been on his side. I cannot recall one drive that Ottawa's had starting from deep in their own territory. So it's been a great situation all night for the Ottawa quarterbacks to start their drives.
Got a good spot there too. Bronick, the give again, and 6 yards again. That's what he averages. Let's go to Brent Wallace now.
Well, guys, Steve Dias, the athletic therapist for the Renegades, been a very busy man tonight. Not only has Kerry Joseph is out, but George McCullough is out as well. He suffered another bad stinger, so he'll be reevaluated tomorrow. As well, Val St. Germain, as you guys mentioned earlier, is out. He suffered a hyperextended elbow. He's wearing a brace on that, so they're keeping him on the sidelines as a backup because Mike Abu-Meshrik is out as well from a concussion last week, so they have no backup lineman. Guys?
Thank you, Dr. Wallace. 2nd and 3. Boy, there are a lot of injuries around both teams. Bronick has to tuck his jersey in, and at this time of year, Leaf, you've been down this road before with good teams or bad teams, and you start losing players, you still have to keep going, you have to move ahead, you have to keep winning.
And you're only as good as your backups. Look at Alexander Gauthier. He's replacing Val St. Germain. He gets the double team, he chips off on the linebacker, and you're only as good as your backups, Rod, at this time of the year. In Ottawa's tonight, Alexander Gauthier, number 66, the left guard. He's doing a fantastic job.
Miller, wide out to Montana. Couldn't break the tackle. Good play again by Willie Fields.
Solid tackle by Willie Fields. That's a tough tackle to make.
Montana springs that tackle, and it's daylight. So it'll be 2nd and 7 with about 30 seconds to go here in the 3rd quarter.
Not a lot of points scored in this quarter, but certainly entertaining. I mean, this 3rd quarter has just breezed by. Ottawa still hanging on to a 1-point lead.
Wild subplots in this one, too, with the quarterbacks out. 2 good running games, Ronick and McCullough. Miller with some time. Aubrey Cummings. Big first down, Ottawa.
What protection for Lamaro Miller. I mean, he stood back at least a 6 count here. Calgary ran a twist up front, and still they pick it up perfectly. Look at the good depth back in the pocket, and George White comes in late, but that was at least a 6 count for Miller to get that pass off, and Cummings with a nice grab over the middle.
Quite some time for the Renegades to get close to the red zone here. Big guys up front have done a job tonight for the Ottawa Renegades.
A lot of steamboats being provided by that big group.
Twin backs, Maurer and Ronick. Miller. Ronick gets the call again. Past the right guard. And no penalty flags, and that's it for the 3rd quarter. A 1-point game separating 2 teams who have 9 losses apiece and need a win tonight. Dave?
You know, Ray Elgard lives in Las Vegas these days. I wonder if he's watching, and if he is, he loved that play by Don Blair, because you said that the last time you saw somebody do that, it was Elgard.
That's right, and it was a heads-up play, and Blair had a heads-up play tonight, too.
Calgary is playing like a team that, well, everybody says they're out of it, Schultz, but they're showing some pride today.
Exactly. That's the key word. And Jeff Pilon, the right offensive tackle, number 64 for the Calgary Stampeders. I think his response on this Gerald Vaughn hit was correct. Watch this play develop. Here comes Frederick. He has to scramble on the play. And then right there, Vaughn hits him a couple times. There comes Jeff Pilon, Smart move, because you must defend your quarterback. You have to make a statement that we're going to protect this guy. Now, when he goes to the sidelines, you see a little bit of a disgruntled Jim Barker, but that's all right, in my opinion. That shows some pride, but there's more to it than that, isn't there, Matthew?
Yeah, it is, but why is Jim Barker, he's been O-line coach, why is he chewing on Pilon? Because he's protecting his quarterback. But the thing I don't understand is, hey, you got the shot, take it. That's exactly what Vaughn does here. But the flag is not thrown on that shot. The flag is thrown as it rolls on Pilon's hit on Vaughn. So the referees get together, and then they confer and say, hey, you know what? We're just going to make these offset and go to third down. And what does Calgary do? They pull a field goal wide, and they don't take the lead, Jock. So, I think Vaughn is in the right there. I think Pilon, what he did, protecting his quarterback, is the thing to do. But I think that the offsetting penalties just didn't jive.
Are you picking on the refs, Matthew?
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I just didn't, they didn't throw the flag on Vaughn's hit.
Sometimes they're politicians. They look and see how it all shakes out, and then they step in there and try to resolve it. Yes. Well, and for the coaching staff, they got a real challenge on their hands. It's actually fun. Rarely do you get to see a football game where both starting quarterbacks go out of the game. And you heard Leaf talk about the fact you're only as good as your backups. And right now we're going to find out about the coaches and just how good they are. Because you know what? When you lose your starting quarterback, you have to take your playbook and pare it down. You got to figure out what your backup can handle, what he can handle. A guy like Romero Miller, apparently the book on him is great arm, but he hasn't got a great grasp of the offense. So for Coach Joe Palpao, it's a real challenge.
All but 2 of the games that the Renegades have played in their home field have been decided in the fourth quarter, and that's exactly what's going to happen tonight.
All right, guys, Joe Palpao, Jim Barker. Their teams need wins.
Yeah, and if it's decided late in the game, you've got one kicker leading the league in Lawrence Tynes and the other in Duncan O'Mahony that is absolutely unproven in crucial situations.
Miller takes off, has some daylight, and fights again very close to another first down for Ottawa.
Wow, this will be very interesting. I think he's come up just a tiny bit short, Rod. And what will Joe Palpao do in this situation?
Only 1 point scored in that third quarter on the miss by O'Mahony. And here's what the numbers look like after 3 quarters.
Well, you see the 294 for Calgary right here. Heck, remember, they only had 42 yards in the first quarter, so they've really picked it up in 2 quarters of football to find themselves back in this football game.
By a nose. By a nose, Romero Miller.
And Jock talked about Romero Miller as a backup quarterback and what are the things that he can do, because he certainly can't do and complete the whole offensive package. He can run, and he did it very well right there.
Well, just like the #1 guy for both teams tonight, 2 running quarterbacks. Kerry Joseph, Marcus Crandall knocked out. In the red zone, 1st and 10 for Romero Miller and the Renegades. Ronick hunched down low, nowhere to go. Antoine Young and Joe Fleming both there.
Well, you saw Joe Fleming, earlier he was content to stay outside and respect the quarterback taking the ball out of the back's tummy and running with it. That time he just said, heck with that. I've seen enough of Ronick running inside, and he slanted down and he made the play.
Aubrey Cummings coming out of the ball game now. Big play here. 2nd and 10 from the 12. Miller behind center. Ronick behind him. Raymond Adams in motion. Gets it away, but Ronick is there. And he's all the way to the end zone for the touchdown. Romero Miller was nailed. Got it away, and Ronick took it to pay dirt. Well, what looked like a broken play for a moment.
It was a super read by Romero Miller, and again, a backup quarterback making some great plays, a good run to get a first down. Then he read the blitz, he dumped it off to the hot receiver, his back out of the backfield, and completed a superb drive.
So the Renegades lead 23-15 in the fourth quarter from the nation's capital. Big drive, big scoring play by Josh Ronick on the dump pass by Romero Miller.
He stayed. He stayed right back and went out. He stayed.
And here's the kick. There's Hundon again. Number 89 has more room, comes back the other way, and is hit from behind.
Well, what a great read by Romero Miller, the quarterback, because Ronick becomes the third receiver. Just hold it out here. You've got two receivers out to the outside. The only way you cover the third guy is either with your safety or with your linebacker. Otis Floyd blitzes. Ronick is the hot receiver. There's nobody to cover him, and look how quickly Romero Miller sees it. He dumps it off. There's no coverage on the running back. He's the hot guy. Miller reads it perfectly. Bang, you got yourself a great touchdown. That's how you draw it up. You say, if you want to attack us there, you better get out and cover my back. Nobody did.
Josh Ronick, big night on the ground and in the air. Ball knocked away. Franz Clemens is there. There's Ronick. Let's take another look.
Well, it's worth another look because it was just a terrific read, and that was the absolute right guy to hit quickly. Nobody out there to cover. Joey Bosey, the safety, was gone to the other side on the trip side of the field. Perfect offense. It's fun to watch.
It's almost like a hook shot. He didn't even really have time to grasp the football. Just dumped it off to Ronick, and he took it away. Big touchdown for Ottawa. 23-15, looking to avenge their loss to Calgary when Federic led the Stampeders to victory on July 1st. Don Blair is smothered.
You know, I've been impressed with Kevin Federic, how he's come into this game, because he has stepped up in the pocket. He's been brave, he's stood tall, and he's delivered some strikes, and he's had a good running game to balance with it. And at 23-15, I mean, he's only a touchdown and a two-point convert away.
7 for 10 is Federic for 75 yards, and again put into the fire tonight. Both guys, Federic and Romero Miller. It's up to the backups here tonight. Duncan O'Mahony will come back out with 12 minutes to go. 8-point game. Arnold Jackson is back.
Well, again, field position tonight for Ottawa has been so favorable, and they're going to get it again.
And once again, the former Stampeder there too, Raymond Adams, but it's going to be a no yards call. So tack on a few more. Good field position for Ottawa once again, and for Romero Miller to go back to work here tonight in Ottawa. Joseph for PM as well. And now the replacement for Kerry Joseph, Romero Miller, again with a shovel pass, the inside pitch to Josh Ronick, and that has worked very well tonight for the Renegades.
Yeah, it's so frustrating for Joe Fleming on the corner there. I mean, there's really nothing he can do. He has to respect the outside running ability of the quarterback, Romero Miller, and yet when he does that, it creates the natural seam inside for Josh Ronick. But it's only as good as your interior lineman at holding the interior of Calgary, and Ottawa's line has really done a superb job holding their blocks tonight.
2nd and 2, Romero Miller into the game for the injured Kerry Joseph. Play action and lots of room. To the sidelines for a big gain and pushed out of bounds.
And here's what happens when you don't respect the outside running ability of the quarterback. And again, it's Joe Fleming. A little fake in here. He collapses, and what does Miller do? He's eyeing him. He's watching him right now. He sees him there. Boom, I've got him to the outside. It's a design play. Ottawa does it specifically. They put the ball in, and they have the ability to read it and take it out.
Two guys, here we are near October, Romero Miller and Kerry Joseph, who weren't even on the radar screen for the Ottawa Renegades. Joseph can run, Miller can run, and both guys are running the Ottawa offense. Joseph out of the game, Miller in. Ronick, nowhere to go.
And again, you see Joe Fleming even on that play. He stayed at home that time because now once again he's edgy about are they or are they not going to try to run outside me?
Demetrius Maxey making the tackle on that last play.
Well, Ottawa knew coming into this game that Calgary gave up a lot of yards on the ground. They give up well over 100 per game. They rank 6th in the league. So, I mean, Joe Paopao in their game plan said, heck, we think we can run. We're a good running team, and we should have success tonight, and they certainly have.
2nd and 9. Miller looking to the sideline. Catch made.
Well, and this is a key drive. I mean, there's lots of time left, well over 9 minutes, but at least, you know, you take advantage of the great field position they had to begin this drive around midfield. You're going to probably get 3 points. Now you force Calgary into 2 scores.
Lawrence Tynes has been awesome for the Renegades this year. He's the CFL scoring leader, 3 for 3 tonight. A little chip shot here, and he can make the lead 11. Well, you mentioned what the Calgary defense gives up, but also they don't score a lot of points. The Calgary offense, only 14 points per game. They have 15 here tonight, and they need to score, the Stampeders. Tynes doing the job. Tynes 4 for 4 from field goal range tonight. 26-15. Renegades lead. Kevin Federick back to pass. Here comes the rush. And a flag on the play. And a roughing the passer call as well afterwards. And that one will hurt because it was probably a holding call to begin with.
Well, Roger Dunbrack, who's in spelling off Jerome Haywood, got the pressure, got the sack. We'll see how they sort this out.
There's no infraction on the intentional grounding. There was a receiver in the area. However, there's holding on Calgary. We'll repeat, first down.
So it was an intentional grounding that they were thinking about, but it wasn't called. So a holding against Calgary. And we've had some pressure here tonight, of course.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think it's great for you, right?
Gremlins in the Ottawa offense and their field position here tonight as Romero Miller comes back into the game. If you're just joining us, Kerry Joseph started for Ottawa, knocked out by injury. Marcus Crandall for Calgary, knocked out by injury. 8:04 to go. 26-15 for the hometown Renegades.
Well, and you talk about field position, which most coaches will tell you makes such a difference in a game. Look at this. The worst Ottawa has had tonight is their own 35, and it seems like, Rod, every time you look up, they're 1st and 10 from midfield. It's just been unbelievable.
They've been backing up the Stampeders all night long. And a loss here for Ronick takes it back over midfield, so it's going to be 2nd and 11.
And Joe Fleming absolutely sold out on that play. He said, I don't care if you run outside me. I'm going to drill the running back inside on that handoff or fake handoff. And he just took out a lot of frustration that time on Josh Ronick because it has not been a fun night for Fleming. He likes to pass rush quarterbacks, and he really has not got close. He's the sack leader, but he hasn't really been close to either Ottawa quarterback this evening.
Shotgun for Miller. Looking for Flick, sideline, and deep. Flick, can he get to it? No, he can't. A couple of bumps downfield, but no flags. And now the Renegades will turn the ball back to the Stampeders in a game tonight with no turnovers. Both teams protecting the ball well.
Oh, you did it.
Oh, yeah.
You did it. Sure enough, 7:03 to go. There'll be a turnover.
Well, a turnover might be the turning point in this ball game. Again, both offenses doing pretty good in time of possession. Fleming kicks it away. Hunden again. Trying to cut back. But again, the Stampeders will be penned deep. Here's our game story brought to you by Sport Check, Canada's largest sporting goods retailer. Sport Check, the best value.
Well, it's been all about quarterbacks and running backs. Two quarterbacks, the starters both injured there. Backups, Federick and Miller in. And of course, Josh Ronick, a terrific night, a nice touchdown reception, 122 total yards. And Saladin McCullough, when he has been called upon, has provided some much needed yardage on Calgary's behalf. Quarterbacks and running backs.
Both teams with 2 touchdowns. But the Renegades with more possession and also those 4 field goals. A big factor here tonight. Federick deep in his zone. Gives it to McCullough. McCullough will take it up to the 19-yard line.
Well, again, both teams using this running play with such success tonight. I just absolutely love it. Most teams in the league have it in where they fake, and then if the defensive end stays outside, they run the pitch. And it just puts so many people on defense in difficult positions. It's not surprising so many teams are using it.
1st and 10 from the 19. 10-yard pickup for McCullough. That was huge. Cutting inside again is McCullough, and spinning Saladin McCullough. And again, close to another first down.
Unfortunately for the Stampeders, I mean, the running is great. They're doing a good job. They're moving the chains, back-to-back first downs. But it's 5 minutes and 39 seconds in running right now, and they trail by 11. 2 scores for sure.
First and 10 from the 30. We need a big gainer here soon. Federick out to McGarity. He gets stopped short of another first down.
And Ottawa's goal on defense right now would be, you've got an 11-point lead. The clock is most likely on your side. Don't give up anything deep or cheap. Make Calgary, and in this case, drive the ball almost 90 yards to get a score. Make them earn it. Don't give them anything, and I'm sure that's the battle cry on the Ottawa sideline right now.
It's been kind of a chip and charge game. There haven't been a lot of huge plays, big plays from scrimmage. The biggest one coming early in the ball game.
Well, Rod, the toughest thing for a young quarterback like Federick is to put like 9 or 10 plays together and get a score. I mean, that's the consistency that a lot of young guys don't have.
Biggest play for the Stampeders from scrimmage, the 25-yard touchdown toss to McGarity.
But they're doing it nicely. 3 first downs in a row for Kevin Federick and his offense.
4.5 minutes to go. Marcus Crandall now watching and helping with the plays with Jim Barker. Federick forced into action here tonight. Can he lead his team to victory again over the Renegades? Fake to McCullough. To the sideline for Hunden. And another first down.
Well, they're executing beautifully. 4 first downs, but still 4 minutes remaining. At some point in time, you know, they do have a lot of time. 4 minutes is enough, and if you can put, as they are doing, like it's going to take probably at least 10 offensive plays to score a touchdown, you can do it. Good for you. But I think Ottawa is playing it perfectly on defense right now.
We have not seen a lot of scores in a flurry here tonight, though. It's been a game of possession, and McCullough's been hanging on to the ball a lot tonight. That time he doesn't get a first down, but he'll get right back at it and expect to see more Saladin McCullough. McCullough jawing now with the Renegades, and this is it for the Stampeders. They know they need the W.
And you know, the clock keeps running on these running plays, down 3:38, and I'd almost be tempted to, if I'm Jim Barker, to start thinking about the hurry up.
hurry up, start going to the out patterns a little more, some sideline tosses, or try to get to the end zone in a hurry. They're going to need it. 3.5 to go. Well, almost picked off. Krantz Clemens was gone to the end zone, and he comes up and has a few words for Federic.
Boy, Federic got fooled on the coverage. He thought second and short he had man-to-man, but they were in zone to the wide side of the field. Krantz Clemens played a rolled-up coverage from the corner, and he could have gone the distance. There you see, he was all alone, couldn't make the play, but Federic, as a young quarterback, expected man and got fooled by the zone.
Here we go, 3rd and 4. And this could be it for the Calgary Stampeders with 3 minutes to go. They need 4 yards. Federic needs to put his head down. He hasn't. And they will keep marching. First down, Calgary. And the 3-minute warning. Stampeders need to find the end zone. Season on the line. Wendy's Friday Night Football will continue. Dean Renegades. 2:54 to go in the 4th quarter. Calgary Stampeders need a win. So too do the Ottawa Renegades. Joe Paupow. Everyone knows how desperate this game was beforehand. Tension builds in Ottawa. McCullough breaks a tackle. McCullough down to the 12-yard line. Big play for the Calgary Stampeders. Perfect timing.
Wow, what a great run by Saladin McCullough. Everybody thinking quads to the field. They're going to throw, but they cross Ottawa up with the run, and that is the 10th play of this drive. The Calgary Stampeder offense has been flawless, and they are going to make this interesting.
They haven't been in the red zone in quite some time. They are now. Federic handing inside. McCullough again. McCullough. Saladin McCullough. What a touchdown.
What a move on Kelly Wiltshire. The best tackler, the leading tackler for Ottawa. McCullough leaves him dead in his tracks, and what a touchdown. Now they've got to go for 2. The fun starts.
Saladin McCullough just dusted Kelly
There's
Wiltshire.
Wiltshire right there. Watch what happens right here. Boom. Oh! There's a jock on the turf.
Saladin McCullough. That was the McCullough drive. Huge play. And another big one coming here. 26-21. The 2-point convert. Federic. Looking for McGarity. No one home.
Well, that sets the stage now. Calgary needs a touchdown to win this game. 21-26. Hey!
Don't go anywhere.
Oh my, once again worth a look at the fabulous move by Saladin McCullough, who's had himself a terrific night right here. There it is, a little dip here and back to the outside, and nothing but artificial turf for Kelly Wiltshire to fall on. And that was some kind of move.
Yeah, that was McCullough's drive and McCullough's touchdown. But his Stampeders still need another. McCullough's 2nd TD of the night.
Well, I mean, they answered the call. Look at the numbers for McCullough, 138 yards, but what a drive. 11 plays put together by the Stampeders to get that touchdown.
And now they have to make sure that they use the clock efficiently. Don Blair chatting with Jim Barker again. Key too is to hang on to the football. Arnold Jackson and Raymond Adams will be back for the Renegades. There's Jackson.
Well, the question does come up with 2:17 remaining. Do you kick it deep or do you try onside? I mean, I firmly believe that it's an eternity of time right now. You kick it deep and rely on your defense to make some plays.
And he sends it to the 24. Jackson, special teams for the Stampeders, doing a pretty good job here tonight. But again, good field position for the Renegades. They've never been under their 35 to start. The player of the game, you can cast your vote on the internet, CFL.ca. Text messaging goes CFL. The Rogers AT&T Wireless player of the game. The shy Saladin McCullough, rather outspoken on the sidelines too, is obviously one of the candidates, and so too is number 30 in black, Josh Ronick. Expect to see him carry the load here now as they want to protect the football. But Miller, play action to Denny Montana. Montana will get half the first down yardage. And Romero Miller and the Renegades are going to need to get a couple first downs here, or Federer's going to get another shot.
Well, what's interesting to me tonight, Rod, about Joe Paopao and the Ottawa football team, you know, turnovers have been a problem. They're -2 on the year, but they have played an error-free football game tonight. No interceptions, no fumbles. Kerry Joseph left the game with an injury. His understudy, Romero Miller, has come in. But for two teams that have losing records, they have played pretty flawless football tonight.
Played like winners. Again, you know, the Toronto Argonauts are watching. The Western teams are watching. Saskatchewan's watching this too. Paopao gets a win tonight if he can. That means that they'd be tied with the Argos for second place in the East, and the Argos play Saskatchewan on Sunday. Calgary just needing a win. It is must-win time. Down to last straws for Jim Barker and the Stampeders.
Well, I mean, it sets up so much with Toronto, Saskatchewan. Saskatchewan, fourth place team in the West, trying to maybe get a berth in the playoffs in the East. So it could be Toronto they look at.
Miller picks up the first down and is down at midfield. You know, I was kind of thinking about this too. If Saskatchewan does cross over, saying that does happen, then they come out of the East to the Grey Cup game.
I know what you're going to say.
They're going to play as visitors in Taylor Field in Regina, representing the East.
You are sharp tonight. My goodness.
1:40 to go.
Well, the Calgary Stampeders now have to try to tackle the football on defense. They need to create a turnover. 1:30 to go, as Rod said. That's not a lot of time. They need to make something happen on defense right here. They just can't allow Ottawa to run out the clock.
It's Ronick time, of course, and there's a big stuff.
Maxey with good penetration, but it was so quick they didn't have time. Usually the second and third man in on the tackles have to try to rip that football loose. And Chris Burns, we've got a good shot of him right now, right here. He has had a terrific night pass blocking on the two defensive ends, Joe Fleming and Antoine Young. He really has played well.
Timeout, Stampeders. Coming up, a few moments away from taking you to Commonwealth Stadium in Edmonton. Eskimos, Grey Cup finalists last year against the BC Lions. Much improved Leos. Wendy's Friday Night Football. Coming up next. Should be a great one. And now a big play in this ball game. 2nd and 11. Could mean everything to the Stampeders. They need to stop and need to get the football back and then march downfield.
Yeah, and you saw Federic on the sidelines. That's good. Get your guys to get them together, get them ready, anticipate you're going to get the ball back, and start calling a few plays. Let your players know what you want to do if, in fact, you do get a chance.
Miller, the shovel pass, Ronick spins. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, my.
What a hit by Demetrius Maxey. And that might have just re-energized Calgary again. They needed a stop, and they got it.
And Maxey fought off the double team right there. The line couldn't stay with him, and he firmly planted his helmet in the 3-0 of Josh Ronick.
So now momentum to Calgary. They need to score in the final 1:14. Pat Fleming to punt. There's James Hunden back at his 5-yard line. Inside a minute. Rush on, just gets it off. Huge kick to the goal line. Hunden takes it out. to the 18-yard line.
You know what, Rod? Hunden should have let that ball bounce and give up a single. A single means nothing right now. And really, I think if he thought twice about that, he was about 1 or 2 steps into the end zone. The single point meant nothing, but the yardage would have been unbelievable. He would have been out to the 35. A mental error for Hunden, who's a great kick returner. But I think that's one he should have thought about and discussed from the sidelines.
Saladin McCullough, expect to see a lot of him here in this last 44 seconds. But again, McCullough and Wayne McGarity have had the biggest plays. They've been 25-yarders. They're going to need a couple of those. They have a long way to go. Calgary Stampeders. Kevin Federick to McCullough on the ground. Drop play. And another first down. But the clock running, 38 seconds to go.
Ottawa will give this up. They will give up that kind of yardage with 38 seconds. Time is on their side.
Federick, if he's going to get to the end zone, you have to figure, as Barker talks with Scott Dybert, he has to put it in the air at some point here.
Yeah, I mean, the running game's been great for Calgary tonight, but now it's time to air it out right now. 38 seconds, you can't run the football.
And it has to be a significant toss. McCullough injured on this play. So he whirls around. Quite a night for Saladin McCullough.
He has been a workhorse.
Of course, this gives the Stampeders time to think about this drive. They still have to go a long way. They're at the 32-yard line with 38 seconds to go. McCullough comes off. And here comes Federick and the Stampeders again. Hunden is wide left. McDonald, Darnell McDonald, who's been quiet in this second half, is wide right. Might try to McDonald, one-on-one coverage. But he was. Federick dumped. Now 2nd and 10.
Total miscommunication between Darnell McDonald and Kevin Federick. McDonald went deep downfield. Federick threw the out. But I like where he went. He had quads to the field, and as you suggested, Rod, a great situation to go back to the weak side one-on-one.
And again, Krantz Clemens watching Darnell McDonald on that weak side. Federick. Out pattern. Wiltshire had the ball, dropped the ball. And once again, it will be a 3rd down play, and the season on the line, game on the line here for the Calgary Stampeders.
Well, it was a tall order to ask Kevin Federick to come in and put back-to-back drives together. He put a beautiful 11-play drive together for the previous touchdown. But now it's all on the line.
Now you have to get the first down, get your 10. And watch the clock, 24 seconds to go. If you don't get 10, it's over. Again, the Stampeders needed to run the table here the rest of the way to have a sniff. This is it. They need a first down. Federick, wide side. And that's it. Kevin Federick thrown into the fire again tonight. Wayne McGarity leaped high, but could not come up with the football. And the first turnover of the ball game happens with 17.6 seconds remaining. And McGarity had to reach high. So the Calgary Stampeders will fall to 4-10, and the Ottawa Renegades will go to 6-9, and suddenly the pressure on the Toronto Argonauts on Sunday against the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Headsets are off.
Well, you remember what I said to you earlier tonight. I like in these races to be the first game of the weekend, and now you really put the pressure on the other team, and more specifically Toronto. And Saskatchewan too. I mean, Saskatchewan is still thinking about playoffs in the West or crossover in the East.
The Ottawa Renegades, after losing a couple in a row.
It's been a Sorry, Ron. It's been a well-played game tonight by two teams at under 500, and I'm thoroughly impressed with the coaching job on both sides tonight and the way so many backup role players have stepped up and played well tonight. It was an excellent game.
And the Renegades are back in the win column, and that's it for the Stampeders. Ottawa wins 26-21 in our first half of a Friday night doubleheader. We'll send you to Commonwealth Stadium in a few moments.